Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're going to be doing a bit of shameless self-promotion. I don't do a lot of self-promotion on this channel, but I figured, the occasion of my seventh book being published, Power BI or Microsoft Power BI Cookbook, third edition, I figured I'd take some time and just go ahead and do it. So I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek of what's coming. This book is going to be published this month. So July 2024, this book will be published, and you guys can get purchase it and get it in your hands and take a look at it. What's so that's exciting in and of itself. So basically, Learn Power BI was my first book, then DAX Cookbook. Then it was like Learn Power BI, Power BI Cookbook second edition, Mastering Power BI second edition. Those all got released within like a year of one another, like within 12 months. And then my latest book, Definitive Guide to Power Query M with Rick DeGroot and Melissa DeCorte. Thank you guys all for the phenomenal support you guys have been showing that book. Really appreciate it. But this book is special in that for no other reason that it's my first book in color, right? So it's going to be published in full color. Previously you could download the color images from Pact, but this one, the actual book is going to be in color. So that is super exciting to me. I'm really excited about that. Hopefully that will stave off all of the. As an author, you just love, when you get a 2-star review and they're like, this book is great, but it's not in color. 2 stars. You're like, really, I have no control over that, man. That's a publishing decision. There were, to get this to be published in color, there were a lot of constraints. I had to keep this book within about roughly 600 pages, which the last edition was about 617 pages or so with the index. But I've really taken, so it was, I really spent a lot of time with this edition to try to condense the information, so not lose information, but structure the information in different ways. So combining recipes together, combining information in different recipes into, a single recipe or distributing it throughout multiple different recipes, right? A lot of tools and techniques that I use to try to make sure that we could fit this edition in the right around that 600 page limit so that we could get it in color, because I know it's a I like my books in color. Like I've got the practical charts and more practical charts. They're gorgeous color. So it just adds a lot to the experience. So anyway, I figured I would give you guys kind of a sneak peek. I've got an early review copy here, so this thing's almost wrapped up. And I've tried to keep this thing as up to date as possible. Like I started this book while I was writing the definitive guide to Power Query M. So these books were going on in parallel as far as, like what my writing in that. And I finished up the drafts of these prior to the publication of Definitive Guide to Power Query M. And even in those intervening couple months between when I finished the drafts and, going through the technical the technical editors got their hands on them, going back and doing second draft, final drafts, right? Even then, some things changed. Like they completely updated the ArcGIS, visual. So I had to go back in and redo all the screenshots for that. They updated certain things within Fabric and within Power BI that I had to go back in and update the screenshots and stuff. So I've tried to keep this as up to date as possible. Not an easy chore when you're working with Power BI because it changes so often. But let's get into this real quickly. So come down here to table contents, right? So installing and licensing Power BI tools, right? So there's a piece of this that has not been touched. Even recipes that largely stayed the same have been completely updated to make the instructions more clear. Try to make things that just as easy as possible for people to follow. And condensing the recipes down so that less steps involved. One of the things that I think is a improvement to previous editions, right? There's a new recipe on actually getting the AdventureWorks database, getting SQL Server installed, getting the AdventureWorks database, restored and so that you can actually, use, because it's used throughout pretty much all the recipes, right? So I think that's a big improvement. I really wanted to get that recipe in there so that the book is more kind of self-contained and not like, well, go follow these instructions on the web and get the get the the backpack file and blah blah blah, right? So anyway, so got that in there. There's a bunch of stuff on licensing. With all the changes to licensing, that's been a struggle as well. But accessing retrieving data, big chapter, right? And I was able to get this new recipe in here, extending the core library M library. So I used some of the what I learned with the definitive guide to Power Query M and put some of that knowledge in here as well as like diagnosing queries and things like that. Building your Power BI semantic model, right? A lot of these recipes have been majorly updated. We are able to get in utilizing hybrid tables. That's brand new, right? That wasn't in the second edition. And so you're gonna, there's quite a few actual new recipes in here. Authoring Power BI reports, the chapters mainly are the same, but everything's been touched and everything's been, updated and enhanced, and I think made a lot better. Plus, the color is just going to make it, unbelievable. Working in the Power BI service, right? A lot of stuff's been updated, right? I think the scorecards is a new recipe as well as maybe data flows. Maybe that was in the second edition. It's hard to keep all this straight, people. The data intelligence, all of that information's in there. The leveraging calculation groups, that's been completely updated to focus more on the default Power BI desktop features now that you can create calculation groups in Power BI desktop. And every chance that we had to do with that, where we could eliminate, reliance on third-party tools and really take advantage of native Power BI desktop features, native Power BI features, we took every opportunity to do that. Parameterizing Power BI solutions, right? Implementing dynamic user-based visibility, applying advanced analytics and custom visuals. We've got a bunch of recipes for that. And then this one has changed quite a bit too. Administering and governing Power BI. For example, like providing documentation, we there was that recipe was very complex, and now it's been made a lot simpler and easier to do because we leverage the query view within the new query view within the Power BI desktop. So, again, that's all brand new as well. Enhancing and optimizing existing Power BI solutions, right? You can see all the recipes there. Deploying and distributing Power BI content. That's a great chapter. It includes the gateways and publishing apps and distributing content with teams, integrating Power BI with other applications, which covers everything from Excel to, analysis services in Excel to, PowerPoint, Power Automate and Power Apps, Dataverse and Dynamics 365, and Dynamics 365 in the Power Platform. And then here you go. It's an entirely new chapter, working with Premium and Microsoft Fabric. So this one really focuses in on really working with Fabric workloads, such as data warehouse and data within your lakehouse, backing up your semantic models via the XML endpoint, leveraging Direct Lake. We got a recipe for that, and applying like data science, for example. So again, tried to pack as much as I could into this book. I think it came out really well. Yeah, I really hope you guys enjoy it. It's available this month. They've already got, you can pre-order it on Amazon. You can get it from pack.com. It'll come with if you have a online subscription, it'll come in with that. So, it's been a lot of work. Writing 2 books simultaneously is never fun. That's why I have no life. So anyway, that's all I had for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy the book, and I'll see you next time.